I started in Cabo Verde, then to Angola, from Angola to South Africa, then Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania. Zanzibar I visit alone, but it's like it depends to Tanzania. Then Ethiopia, Dubai, Sri Lanka, Hong Kong, Japan, Philippines, Indonesia. Back to Germany for 2 weeks because I want to see my new nephew, and then to Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, USA, Mexico, USA back, and then to Europe back for the last 2 weeks, to Czech Republic, to Hungary, to Slovakia, and back to Germany.
I started in Thailand, and then I flew over to Malaysia, Indonesia. Oh no, there was Singapore in between, and then Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia. I flew back to Malaysia because I really love Malaysia. Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Korea, Canada, Alaska, and a bit of America. England, Italy, Germany for Christmas, and then I flew to Mexico in March this year.
E aí, viajantes?
E aí, viajantes?
E aí, viajante?
Eu tô aqui com meu amigo Gogo e também com a minha amiga Sophia. Eu conheci o Gogo lá em Cabo Verde, né? Ele começou a world trip dele, ele viajou pelo mundo, né? Por vários países. Ele é um cara que já conhece 40 countries.
40 in total, yeah.
Em total ele conhece mais de 40, ela 30 e alguma coisa, se eu não me engano.
35?
35. Então, a maneira como eles viajaram foi muito interessante, entendeu? E eu queria mostrar aqui um pouco pra vocês, sabe? E a história deles, até pra se conhecerem, foi bem interessante. Os dois são da Alemanha, né? So, guys.
Yeah.
Now in English.
No, I can understand.
Translating now, please put the subtitles. I would like to know more about you and about the opportunity to travel the world. For example, I know you more than her.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you had 75% of your salary during 3 years, I think so. Then you traveled you traveled for 1 year.
1 year. That's true.
So how was this experience? Was it good?
Yeah, it was good because normally you have to save money alone, like you get your salary and you have to save money for your travels. But for me it was really nice because I worked 3 years normal and I get 75% of my salary. And so I can use 75 in this year when I traveled, during the travel. It was really cool because I haven't to look for the money, I haven't to work somewhere. I could travel, I could enjoy the countries, It was nice.
And what about you?
I've been working in Germany for I've been saving for my world trip for like a year maybe, and I think I had like around 2 or 3 jobs at the same time, so I had to work a lot to afford traveling.
Hard worker.
for a few months, but it was worth it. I could just like save money and then live from my savings for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Then, how did you decide traveling? I mean, what was your objective? For example, oh my God, I'm working a lot and I need to change my life. I'm going to travel.
Yeah.
How was this decision? Yes, it's true.
It wasn't like this. For me, it was like a dream to see the world before I have a family or something, because I think it's more difficult when you have like children or a house or like, I don't know, if you're older. I want to do it when I'm young. I'm not young anymore, but still not old. And I think you learn a lot of things during traveling, like a lot of things about other people, about other countries, cultures, and about yourself as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my dream to see a lot of places before I settle down. I don't know, it's like English.
Mm-hmm.
Like before you go down and like have a flat, have a house or family.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I work to see countries and places, not for money or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what about you? Quite the
For
same?
me it was more like, because I was the youngest in my company, and I felt like, wow, my coworkers are like 10 years older, and I don't want to be sitting here in 10 years and doing still the same work. So I decided to quit my job and travel for a while to see, like, the world, to meet new people, to...
So, but how long did you travel?
In total I traveled 2 years by now. This was never the plan, but...
When did you start? So you
I
started...
started in October 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So like 2 years ago.
But where did you start? I mean, your
I
first
started
country?
to travel in Thailand was my first country. I chose Thailand very spontaneously,
Mm-hmm.
but once I've decided I want to go to Southeast Asia, I thought Thailand is maybe a good start because they're like, Thailand is the most touristic country in Southeast Asia, and you meet many backpackers, you meet many people like yourself, it's easy to connect to people, it's good if you've never been traveling and meet new people, it's very easy in Thailand, so it's a good start, I think. After Asia I went to Canada, America, a bit of Europe, and then I went to Central America.
Mm-hmm. I understood that you didn't plan very well this trip, you know?
Yeah.
For example, you decided, okay, I'm going to a place and I'm going to move to another place. How was it? Because you started in Cape Verde, we met there, and then you went to Angola, I think so.
Yes.
Then you visited 7 countries in Africa, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Then you went to Asia?
Asia after, yeah.
So, how was it? Because I understood that you decided, okay, after here I'm going to this place, I mean this country, and then to another country, but without booking anything, let's say this, neither the flight.
Yeah. I made research before, you know, like when you have like this trip, like 1 year, you are really excited and you make a lot of research before. You said, I want to see, which countries, which places, which people I want to meet, you know, like this. And then you make a lot of plans, but you started traveling. I think the first country you book. After that, you said, maybe I changed my plans. You have something behind, you know, you want to see this country. But sometimes you meet people and they're talking about a country and you fell in love with this, so you're addicted and you want to see this country and not like another country. It was like for me, same thing. I was in South Africa. I met the guy in the hostel. He talked a lot of about Ethiopia, and I told you too. And then I was in Ethiopia. It was amazing. I skipped Namibia. I didn't book something.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I'm booking like really spontaneous. And then I have been in Ethiopia, and it was one of the favorite things because it was really different to the other countries. Yeah, I think it's better when you book spontaneous, and because you can do what you want. If you want to stay longer in a place, you can stay longer. If you want to move, you can move.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, I think, they think that's more difficult and more expensive. I think maybe you have to make more research then, but it's not more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And for you?
No, it's the same, more or less. I mean, if you've never traveled, I think you will always plan a bit in advance because you want to have the secure about like, I'm staying in this hostel, then I'm going here, and then I'm going there, then I have my flight. But it's like all planned and in a schedule, and sometimes you want to have more time at this place because you really like it. Sometimes this place is really shit and you wish you could like leave earlier. But you learn this. I mean, in the beginning, I think you won't be very spontaneous and don't have any plan because you need to have this secure. But after a while, I think you will get into this travel life, and then you'll be like, you don't want to have like plans and flights in advance. It's better.
Okay, but one question that we are afraid of. For example, you book the flight to Cape Verde or Thailand, in your case, and you book the hostel as well, and you book for 5 days, and that's it.
Yeah.
And when you arrive there, you book the other flight and you book the other hostel and move on.
Yeah. That's what I did, yeah. And I think after it was like she did it too. We were talking a lot about that. We walked to the hostels as well and asked for the price, asked if they have some place. I think in the first, like what you said, you book the first 3-4 days because you don't know the place. Like in Mexico too, I wasn't.
Get there.
Yeah, a lot of people say, Mexico City is really dangerous and you have to be careful. Then I booked the first 2-3 days, and then when I have been there, I said, that's nice, that's easy too. I can go to the hostel and I can ask for the price. I can ask and I can look how is it. You know, the pictures are sometimes different to the how is the reality. Yeah, to the reality. And I think it's much better what she said if you do it not in advance, because sometimes you want to leave because it's not nice. Sometimes it's nice and you want to stay longer. But if you book already everything, then you say, I lose money when I don't move now, or when I move, I lose money too. You know, like I think it's easier and better if you do it spontaneous.
I feel like it's always easier to book spontaneous because it's hard to plan like so much in advance, and there will always be cheap flights, there will always be cheap buses, there will always be people you meet last minute and you can share like a bus ride or something. But if you book in advance, sometimes it's even more expensive if you book in advance.
So, but as you said, for example, sometimes you go to a place, né? And you look for a hostel, for example. I stayed 2 days in this hostel and I didn't like too much. I'm going to look for another place, and you go to the hostel, like personally, and okay, do you have place? Do you have spots to stay here 5 days? And you said that sometimes it's cheaper than by the website booking or hostel world or.
Yeah, I have the experience that mainly for Asia it was cheaper. For example, I'm traveling within Thailand and I arrived to a new place. I didn't look for hostels online, so I just go to a random place on the street, and then I'm asking like, hey, how much is the hostel? And she's telling me a price, and then I can check online, and the price is like much higher online than just going to the place. Also, you can see the hostel like in reality, and you can ask, hey, can I see my room? She can show you the room. If you don't like it, you go to the next, or you can just compare rooms before you book it online. You can see how many people are staying there, how is the atmosphere. I think it's much better if you have time just to go to the place you're traveling and then check recommendations while you're there.
I think it depends on time and on the place where you are, because I traveled in Australia when on New Year's Eve. Everything was fully booked. It wasn't possible to make it spontaneous. But
that's like a holiday.
Or Hawaii or something.
Special days.
In special places that are not possible to make it spontaneous. But I think like Asia or Latin America, you can go to the hostels, you can go to the Airbnbs and ask for a lower price, or you can ask for the accommodation.
So, traveling 1 year or 2 years, in your case, what was the most difficult part? I mean, the situations, if you missed your family, the food, your cat.
No cats.
No cats, please.
Not good experience with cats.
The most difficult part was maybe to go home to visit my family.
Wow.
Well, because I wasn't sure where I want to travel next, and it was not, I don't know, I had no idea what I want to do once I'm coming back, because everybody was like in their routine and working. But also I really miss the food sometimes. In Asia it was really hard to find like good bread, good pasta, or just some normal little things you miss from home sometimes. It's like, especially in Asia, the food is like really different. You could also get sick very easily. Well, depends on your stomach. I had to struggle sometimes with the food in Asia.
I had no problems with the food, but I think I like I don't have, was it?
The stomach?
My stomach is like really, he's eating everything. But I think I miss my family a lot. Yeah, my nephews.
You said your nephew.
Yeah, my nephews. And I think I love my job as well, to teach students. But I think what she told, it's true. When I arrived back at home, and then I was home and it was like sitting in my flat, I was really looking forward for my flat, because my own home with my own bed, not sharing with other 15 or 10 people. But it was really quiet, and I was like thinking, oh, tomorrow what I have to do? I have to go to work, sport, and it was like routine. And not like go to this ocean, to the beach, or to make sightseeing, or like, it was really nice this 1 year. And what I miss is kebab as well. The best kebab is in Germany. And I think traveling is not always nice. Sometimes it's really difficult too, because you have to make a lot of research where you want to go, which hostel you book, or which hostel you go, which hotel, what you want to see. It's a lot of time too to make a research. Sometimes the people say, it's really cool to make traveling. Sometimes it's hard as well for me.
Yeah, I feel like in the beginning you're so excited, you all have all this energy, so it's really nice. Yeah. But after
make
after
research.
6, 7, 8 months, you're like, okay, where now? After you've spent all the time in hostels, you want a difference. So I don't know, if you have a difference in doing a working holiday visa where you still have a routine again, or a volunteer that you have a change. But living in hostels for 7, 8 months, it's really hard.
And to change the places is hard too, if you
change places every 3 or 4
take
days.
your backpack and go again, and then again you arrive, you meet a lot of nice people, and I think it's difficult too to say goodbye. That's difficult too, because sometimes you feel we are really close, we are I don't know, we are really mates, and then we say, next week I have to go. That's difficult too. That's the difficult part of traveling.
You meet new people again, and you have to explain. Hey, I'm this and this. I've been there. I've been seeing this.
It's the same conversation.
Yeah, that's boring sometimes too.
So you meet good people, and then you have to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yes, always. But sometimes you meet the people again in other countries, and you made good friends, so you have connections in all the world.
You can visit
really
them
nice
you now today.
Like you too.
Yeah, it's my first travel mate.
Yes, it was nice. One good point you said about the volunteer. You did some volunteer works using Workaway. You told me. How was it? What kind of experience? For example, in hostels. What else?
So I did volunteers because I knew I would travel for a long time, and I don't want to change my place every 3 or 4 days. So I was looking for a place where I can stay for longer time, for 3 or 4 weeks at the same place. You don't have to pack your backpack the whole time. So I did this volunteers and was doing them through Workaway, through the website. I did several, I did a few in hostels, I did a few on farms. In Asia I did a lot on wheat farming, organic farming. The experience in Asia was really nice because you are working with locals, and I got to know the country really well. You get to know traditions and the culture. You get to see places you don't see as a tourist. You get to know the country on the whole different side.
The local way of life.
The local way, the very simple way, no electricity, limited water. You have to cross rice fields to do your laundry. And the life is really simple. You work with 40 degrees. You live with locals. They show you their food. They show you places you would never see as a tourist. And you see also the problems of the countries. You get to think differently. You get to know yourself very well. I think everybody should do volunteer once.
But
especially
during the volunteer, was it a hard work, or you had to work, for example, 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day?
It depends on the volunteer. If you choose to do a physical volunteer, working on a farm, of course it can be hard work. But you're never working more than 4 or 5 hours a day. Depending on the weather, it could be 40 degrees, but they don't let you work in the heat at midday or something, so you have long breaks. They give you food in most of the cases. They give you a bed in they conditions. If they're living very simple and poor, of course you cannot expect
They will offer the
a
same.
bed with mattress and like hot showers and
Yeah.
a coffee and sun. Like it's really simple life, but it's really nice to get to know the other side because you would never see anything like this.
But doing the volunteer, how much did you save traveling? I mean, for example, you did volunteer, for example, in Thailand, right?
No, in Malaysia.
Malaysia, okay. How much do you think that you would spend
Well,
without the volunteer?
I mean, I'm traveling really cheap, so I think my monthly spending maybe were like 400, 500 euros. Not a lot, but I really lived like, I lived on a budget, so I was hitchhiking, I did volunteers and stuff. And if you do volunteers for 2 weeks, you're like saving 50% more or less, so because you don't have any expenses. So yeah, 200 euros you would save. But sometimes they ask you for like a small fee to pay food because they can't afford to pay you food. But that's not even a lot. It's like 5 euros for a week or something.
And you receive the
And you
food
still receive everything else. So you can easily save like 50% if you're staying out of 30 days, 15 days there.
And what about you? So because you use it hostels.
That's true, yeah.
Not hotels, because hotel is quite expensive.
Quite expensive, but in some countries I have to use, like in Angola. It was not possible a hostel.
No, not possible.
No possible in Luanda. And there were no hostels. And sometimes when I needed a break from hostels, because she told already it's like always difficult to go new hostel and meet new people, and you have to share your room with, I don't know, 8 people, 10 people. Sometimes I had a room with 50 people in Japan.
50?
50, yeah, that was crazy. And yeah, sometimes I need a break, like a holidays from traveling. When
Yes, it's like a holiday.
Yeah, you need sometimes holidays, and I went in a hotel. Yeah, it was a little bit more expensive.
Holiday during the holidays.
Holiday during traveling. Traveling at holiday is different for me.
It's different.
Yeah, a lot of
I
people
think
don't
so.
say, but it's different.
What we're having now is holiday.
Now is holiday together, and I want to work in Canada because for me it's difficult. I'm a little bit older. In some places, are not possible to work and get money for it. Volunteer was possible, but yeah, because working holiday visa is not possible for me in a lot of countries because I'm older than 30. In Canada, I want to do that, but because of COVID, it wasn't possible to go to Canada. And yeah, I want to make the experience maybe in 2 years to work in another country, another job. Maybe volunteer in a hostel. I think hostels could be nice for me because I think I could work there like promotion or like this, I don't know.
And one good question, what did you learn traveling? This is a very big and difficult question, but if you imagine, for example, you before traveling and after traveling,
Okay.
the whole year or 2 years,
I can start.
what did you change? How do you change the way that you see the world, the life?
I think like first, the people are nicer than I thought in the world because you are really afraid to go some places to Africa or to Mexico or something like this. There are a lot of robbers, there are a lot of like I don't know, criminals. But nothing happened to me. Like when you are nice to people, they are nice to you too. Like always. And I think I learned a lot about myself. That's like you can be calm. You can be like don't rush and don't be angry about small things. You know, like you have to be. And I learned Spanish a little bit. That's nice too, language. And what I learned is you don't need a lot of things to be happy. You learn this in Africa, you learn in Latin America or in Asia. You see, the people they have like nothing for us. They are really poor, but they are really happy. And for this too, like I had a lot of clothes before. I have a lot of things. I spend a lot of now, and I don't need a lot of shirts. I don't need a lot of pants. You know, like if you have 3, 4, it's enough. And I think that's a little bit different in Europe. A lot of people say, I need one more new one, then you choose new pants. You don't need it, I don't know. I think maybe to be happy with what you have.
Be happy with less things, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what about you?
Exactly the same, yes. Especially through my volunteers, I learned that, I saw that people are living in such simple conditions and like they're just having a bed and nothing else. And they working there in the middle of nowhere and they are so happy still, even though they are so poor. And compared to Europe, we can't complain. I don't know. It's like, it's like you are happy with little things you should be, and you don't need new clothes if you have, unless they're broken or I don't know. Also, I learned a lot about about myself too.
About cooking.
I learned about cooking.
Because you want to save money, you have to cook.
Yes, and also through my volunteers, I learned to cook like Indian food, Asian, Canadian, Mexican. So I extended my cooking, and I discovered my passion about cooking. I learned a new language. And about my body, if I feel sick, I've been sick a few times, really bad. And I got to know my body better. I don't know, I feel like if this is hurting, I know this is gonna happen and I have to be careful, I have to focus on this. So I've learned about myself a lot too.
And about the world. I think because we met a lot of people from everywhere, like not only from the country, I think
about religions too.
Yeah, religions and about the culture, and I think you meet a lot of people from like other backpackers. Not like from the country, like almost, because you're in hostels always, and then you meet other backpackers. But always, sometimes you meet locals too. In Africa, I meet locals, but when you go to Asia, I think you meet a lot of backpackers, and you see that life from them, and you can visit them like you now, and
One good question. For example, traveling 1 year, you cannot hold a big luggage. You have to use just a backpack. What did you bring with you? The essential things, but what's essential?
For me, it's difficult. I'm really tall, and I have really big shoes too. I had 3 shoes because I think it's difficult for me to buy shoes in Africa and Asia like 47. I don't know, European.
How tall are you?
193.
Okay.
And then first I was really afraid, like about disease or something in Africa, because my first continent was Africa. I never traveled before like this, and I had like a lot of disinfection before COVID. No COVID was in the world.
Okay.
I was a lot of disinfection or to clean my hands or something, but I never used it. Like I had a lot of things that I didn't use, like some pants, some pullovers. I didn't use it. I think you don't need a lot. I think like when you have 10 kilograms, it's enough. I traveled with 20 first, but it was like lower, and I think 10 kilograms. You need like maybe
t-shirts and
like a little bit clothes, maybe second shoes. It's enough, and then flip flops. It depends where you go. And if you go to cold place, you need a big jacket, like Canada or Alaska, I think. But if you go only like the hot places, you don't need a lot.
Yes, I started in Asia, and I knew I would stay there for like 7 months, and then go to Canada, which was like different climate, really cold. But I knew I would stay in Canada for like 6 months and travel in Asia for about 7 months or something like that. So for Asia, I think I started with 15, but then I went to 11 kilos, and 11 was totally fine.
Yeah.
I just had like some shirts, like two pairs of shoes and flip flops. You really don't, like, the less you have, the better.
Yeah, I think because it's really
Maximum
heavy.
kilos.
Yeah, it's really heavy.
Yeah, just have a jumper and have lots of layers, and then you can be warm too. And once I was in in Canada, I asked my family to send me over some clothes, and then I could like repack my backpack because I was also flying to Alaska in winter time. But there's always like a way you can like make sure you have enough warm clothes,
Mhm.
or wear like some pairs of socks and
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
have enough layers, and then
Yeah.
you're warm too. You don't need to buy a new jacket or stuff.
And I think it's really cheaper as well because she never booked baggage for the
Yes.
flight, you know, and she can have a check-in, or what is that? Carry
Hand
on,
baggage.
carry on
Mhm.
and luggage, and it's really cheap.
Yeah,
If you have to
I
book
never had
every
to-
time for 30, 40,
Okay.
$50 a
Yeah.
baggage, it's expensive too. And 10 kilogram, you can always take it
Yeah,
on the
you
flight.
can fit
Okay,
it.
like the hand luggage.
Hand luggage, like that.
Yeah, I saved I think 500 euros
Yeah.
on my last 20 flights.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just to remember, you do you remember the sequence of the countries that you visit?
The sequence?
The sequence, for example, you started in Cape Verde, then you went to.
Yeah.
Can you say it?
Yeah.
Just to.
Yeah, I started in Cabo Verde, then to Angola, from Angola to South Africa, then Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania, Zanzibar I visit alone, but it's like it depends to Tanzania, then Ethiopia, Dubai, Sri Lanka, Hong Kong, Japan, Philippines, Indonesia, back to Germany for 2 weeks because I want to see my new nephew, and then to Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, USA, Mexico, USA back, and then to Europe back for the last 2 weeks, to Czech Republic, to Hungary, to Slovakia, and back to Germany.
Mhm.
I think.
Wow, in 1 year.
But
Yeah.
you stopped due to the COVID in Mexico.
Yeah, I spent 6 months, like almost 7 months in Mexico.
No?
I think.
Um,
No, it was like, I think February I arrived, and yeah, 6 months. I was like half year
6
in
months?
Mexico, like, or 5 months. It's crazy because in the other 6 months, 7 months,
and you've seen half of the world.
I think I traveled in total 13 months because of my holidays as well. I had like a
13.
sabbatical and then my holidays, yeah.
Okay. And what about you?
Mm,
Do you remember?
Yeah. I started in Thailand, and then I flew over to Malaysia, Indonesia. Oh no, there was Singapore in between. And then Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia. I flew back to Malaysia because I really love Malaysia. Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Korea, Canada, Alaska, and a bit of America. England, Italy, Germany for Christmas, and then I flew to Mexico in March this year, 2020. And then pandemic happened, Corona, and then I ended up staying there 7 months. And then I met Gogo in Porto Escondido, and I came to Portugal 4 days ago. Yes.
Nice. I don't know if you can tell me this,
We can.
but you can.
I think, I don't know what you are asking about.
I mean, just to have an idea, 1 year in your case, and 2 years in your case, how much did you spend in the whole trip?
I think I spent a lot. I write everything, but I didn't count everything
Uh-huh.
now. I think I spent I thought I would spend like 35 till 40.
Mhm.
I think I spent 40,000 euro.
40,000?
40. Yeah, I think because I thought, okay, I do it like this only once in my life.
Uh-huh.
I'm not like young anymore like Sophia.
You want to do again
Yeah,
now?
you also work. You have a job, and
I have a
everything.
job, I get salary, you know, and look like some Beispiel, was it example. I was in Hawaii, and then was like
It's really
a
expensive.
helicopter flight, you know, like
Mhm.
on the island. I said, okay, that's really expensive here, but I think I never come back to this like island. Maybe I have to do it now, and then I did it. Same in I told you in Tanzania, the safari was really expensive as well. I said, okay, that's a famous thing here in Tanzania. Maybe I have to do it. It was $600 for 3 days. It was really expensive for traveling, but I did it, yeah. And then I was thinking, okay, I'm not like low budget traveler. Maybe, okay, I'm a teacher, I get money, I have salary still. And I spent a little bit. Sometimes I saved, yes, but yeah. And I had a lot of flights. I saw 22 or 23 countries in 1 year. The flights are really expensive. I think from traveling, the most expensive things are the flights. And I had a lot of flights. And that's, yeah.
But analyzing this 40,000 euros at most, huh?
Yeah.
So do you think that half of this money it was for the flights?
Ooh, I don't think so, no. So half?
So what?
It's a lot, huh?
Yeah, but 22, if like one flight is 100 on average, it's like...
It's 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 20.
Wow. Maybe.
No, it's 2,200, right? Yeah, it's 2,200.
So let me see.
So, yeah. I don't know. No, it's not the half.
Oh no, it's 2,000.
No, it's not the half.
No,
I think...
less.
No, it's less.
1/3.
Maybe lesser, I don't know.
Yeah,
Some flights are really
he was living
expensive.
well.
Yeah. And maybe it's like, I think the alcohol is expensive too when you make
Yes.
party.
Alcohol.
And I don't know. Yeah. Some trips like safaris, like the boat trips, like, I don't know. The helicopter tour, yeah.
And what
Maybe.
about for you?
Well, maybe I'm the low budget traveler. I think I spent around 4,000 euros in 11 months in Asia. 4 or 5,000, including flights.
Including flights.
But as I said, I did a lot of volunteers where I didn't have to spend €1. It was all for free, and I did from 7 months. I mean, we did like 3 months volunteers, 2 or 3 months. I was hitchhiking. I did couch surfing. I slept at friends' houses. The food is super cheap. The whole countries in Asia and Southeast Asia are really cheap. So yeah, you don't have lots of expenses there. And then I flew over to Canada and I had my working holiday visa there. So I was working in Canada and was earning money. But at the same time I was like living and working for a family, so I didn't have to pay for my rent and I don't have to pay for my food. So again, I didn't have much expenses. I just paid for my road trips and for alcohol and to go out with friends, and I don't know how much that, maybe around $2,000 in 5-6 months Canada, or 3,000 maybe, with all the road trips I did. And then in Mexico, in Mexico there was like the pandemia, so all the prices were like half the price. It was really cheap to live there. The food is really cheap. I didn't spend much there either.
Yeah, I think for me it was because I saw a lot of countries that are really expensive, like Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah, I would never go to a country where it's like so expensive, because I know I cannot afford it. So
Japan.
or I have like friends there, my family, or I do
Yeah.
couch surfing, but otherwise I wouldn't go there.
Because in Australia,
Very
New Zealand,
different
you pay like
situation.
$30 or 40 for a room, like for a hostel, and in Asia you pay 7 or 5 euro. It's like €3. Yeah, I think it depends on which countries you visit. It's not, it's difficult to say.
It
And
depends on the countries. The countries you choose. I wouldn't go to. I went to Korea, but just because I had like a volunteer. I couldn't go to Korea or Japan if I wouldn't have a volunteer, because it's just too expensive. Yeah.
And for example, do you have an idea how much did you spend every day in average?
I have an application, and you can put everything inside, and they give you average from the country. I have not my average in total now, but if we can count, if I spend 40,000 in 1 year, 1 year has 350 days. You can 40,000 divide 365. 110 euro. It's a lot, but
100 euros per day.
Yeah,
because of the flights, huh?
Because of the flights, because of the countries.
It's a lot, huh?
Yeah.
I think I paid around 15 to 20 euros.
20 euros per day, including the flights. Okay, it's very nice price, huh?
But he's 10 years older, he's working. And
no, I understand.
I
understand.
did it.
It's different traveling.
He went to like different countries.
I want to see a lot of countries in 13 months, like 1 year,
Yeah.
and I thought maybe it's the last time that I can do before maybe I get a family or something. But I think I will do it again. I told you already next year in 2 years. Yeah. Maybe a little bit with Sophia, maybe not. I don't.
So one good question is when we had the problem of the COVID, you were stuck in Mexico, then you stayed there some months.
Yeah. It was really nice to be stuck there because
It was
really
very nice.
yeah, no, that the place was really nice to be stuck there because there are some backpackers as well. We met a lot of other people with our situation. I think for her too and for me too, a lot of friends or my parents called me, yeah, come back to Germany, it's really dangerous, you don't know what happened in Mexico when they haven't food or something. I say, no, the people are really nice here, but I think in the beginning you can feel the locals was thinking about us travelers a little bit, saying what they are doing here, you know, like because maybe we bring this COVID there, like this.
Yeah.
But after a time, we were like locals there too. No, everyone knows us too.
Yeah,
Like,
the locals knew us. It
Yeah.
was like a small village. No new people were coming. Nobody was leaving for like 3 months.
yeah.
But one question, did you meet each other there in Mexico?
Yes, we did. We met like in March or April.
Yeah,
The end
at
of
the beginning
March.
of
the beginning of COVID.
yeah, because we played volleyball, and then it was I think the third last time that we could play volleyball, and they closed the beaches.
They closed all the beaches.
And normally we both wouldn't fly to this place. Normally I want to go to Costa Rica, and yeah, they canceled my flight, and then I stayed there. I met 3 guys. I lived with them 3-4 months together, and then I met Sophia on the beach. And yeah, I was trying a lot. She said no. And then yeah, luckily she said yes.
Beautiful guy.
yeah. Yeah, I tried a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think it was nice to be stuck there because otherwise I wouldn't meet Sophia.
That's true. Positive way to see the things, huh?
Yeah, because I was a little bit sad too because I want to see South America. It was like my dream, South America and Canada last, like one of my favorites. Because I want to see Colombia, I want to see Brazil, and I want to see Canada. But it wasn't possible, but okay, I had an amazing time in Mexico because I met a lot of good friends there because we spent a long time together, and we had a really nice accommodation, like really close to the beach, like a villa with pool, and we made parties sometimes.
Sometimes.
And yeah. But I told them meet Sophia, and then now she's here.
I was happy. Now
So,
I'm here. Unexpected.
One thing, the last thing, it's enough, right?
No, you can ask anything. Fine.
If you want to advise a person who wants to start traveling, what do you want to say? I mean, just go. You have to be. You have to go. You have to be brave. You don't have to be afraid.
Yes.
What do you want to say as advice?
I think it's not hard once like you're home and you have like your apartment, your car, your job, everything, your friends. You need to be a bit brave, yes, I think, to leave everything behind. But once you did that step and you left, you like cancel all your contracts, you don't have your house anymore, any other Verpflichtungen?
I don't know.
Any other duties? Like nothing is holding you back home because you cancel everything. You're free to go. Then you just have to take your flight, and of course you are very nervous in the beginning. But yeah, once you get there, the first hostel, you're gonna meet like so many other people. If it's not in COVID times, you're gonna meet other people. You're gonna realize that you have so much time just to chill on the beach, just to be by yourself, and you get to know like a different world. And I think that's really nice once you are there. and then you can just go, and everything will like happen. Yeah.
I think it's normal to be nervous, but don't be afraid. Like what I can say, like because I was nervous too when I was starting my traveling. I said, "Oh, what the fuck? I'm alone."
Yeah.
Like in Africa, it's difficult to meet people sometimes. And I said, "No, fuck! I'm alone at the beach. I'm alone in a restaurant. It's really strange because in Germany I always have friends and I'm meeting my friends. I'm really social, but it's nice too. You have time to think and you have time to think about yourself, about your future, about your past, and I think you learn a lot of things about other people, about other cultures, about yourself." And I would give it like advice. We both write the diary. That's nice to remember and to have a nice. I don't know. When you read it, you feel back to the situation. You know, like it's much better because otherwise you have only pictures maybe or videos, but you forgot your feelings.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice too. And we both made it too. We give some travel mates to write something about our traveling, about our situation. It's nice too. But I think it's not for everyone, maybe. I don't know.
The travel book?
Yeah. Not travel, to travel.
Oh, to travel.
I think some people don't like this, but yeah. If you are afraid, do it. You try it.
You have to feel like you want to see the world and meet more people. If you're like a person, I love my home, I love my friends. Yeah. Actually, I don't want to be anywhere else because I'm not really interested in the world and to meet other people because I'm so happy at home, and because I don't know, they just maybe they're not like self-organized, or I don't know. They have lots of problems if they're living at home and they're still like 30, 40 years old, and maybe it's a bit difficult, yes, but still you can learn everything. Of course it will be harder, but that's why you're growing in a way once you're traveling.
Yeah. Go on the water and try.
Just try and see if it's working. It will always work in a way.
Yeah. So thank you so much, guys, to give us this advice and the things. It was very, very nice. And I just want to know one thing. Do you remember the first sentence that I told you in Portuguese to say?
In Portuguese, I thought in German.
No.
I said what?
No. In Portuguese. Just to start the video.
Iti viagem.
Iti
viagem.
Iti.
Almost.
Viagens. Viagens.
Viagens.
E aí?
Viagens.
Almost. Yes.
E aí, viagens?
E aí, viajantes?
E aí, viagens?
You can say it together.
E aí?
Viajantes.
Viajantes.
E aí, viajantes?
E aí, viajantes?
Vamos, 1,
3,
2, 3.
E aí, viajantes? E aí, viajantes?
E viajantes?
E aí?
E aí?
Viajantes?
Viajantes. E aí, viajantes?
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 So, if you want, we can start.
That's already recorded.
Yes.